Hello, everybody. How are you doing? This is Deborah. Welcome to Deborah's Journey. I want to thank you all for joining me. If you are new to my channel, I am a budgeter, a cash stepper, and I am sharing my process of paying off a $50,000 student loan. I hope that you consider joining this family and subscribing to my channel. And of course, to everyone who is returning, thank you all so much for being back, and your support means everything. I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you had wins. Maybe if you had a few losses, then consider yourself lucky. We're in a new year. A blank slate is in front of you, and let's make it happen this year. So today I'm going to be sharing my January 24 budget. I have decided to keep my budgets separate. I will only share the budget, and then at the end of the month, I will do a recap of my spending. I'm also going to share with you that my family size is only two people. It's myself and my son, so it is a single income household, and I wanted to make sure that you receive that information because I know there's a lot of new people watching my videos. All right, so let's dive into January's budget and see where my money will be going. So for January, I am going to be budgeting $8,550. That will be my budget. I am not going to include any rollover funds this month. I'm really trying to do a better job of spending and sticking to my budget. So I only want to focus on what I'm budgeting and doing my best to stick with that amount. Okay, so for my fixed expenses for housing and utilities, I'm going to be spending $1,675. Now, I do pay tithes and offering. However, I do keep that to myself. I do not share that amount, but I wanted to just include it as a line item, just so you know that is part of my budget. So for car insurance, I'm budgeting $126.83, Spectrum Internet 75, life insurance 64.69, DirecTV $80. And then I wanted to share some of my expenses that come out on my credit card that I have not shared, but I'm going to start including those on my budget. So DirecTV, well, Sirius XM is my radio service for my car, and so I pay $8.49 a month for that. I have Apple Storage, that's $2.99. Apple Care for my iPhone, $11.50. Google memberships, I am a member of several channels, and so that totals about $12 a month. So that's what I'm budgeting. My son, his cell phone, I use my credit card to pay for it. He just pays me back for it. So he does pay for his own phone. But I'm budgeting $75 for that phone. And then I have two cell phones. And so the total of those two items is $144. So for my fixed expenses, I am budgeting $2,275.50. Okay, so let's move on to our variable. So for groceries, I'm going to be budgeting $525. I did go up this year because food is just expensive. I don't care what store I go to. I have tried to really watch what I'm spending, but giving myself a tight food budget is just not working. So I did increase this budget by about $100 a month, and I think that will make a huge difference. So for my personal money, I give myself, that's $125. I am going to be budgeting $425 for gas. Prescriptions, I don't know if I have any prescriptions that are due this month or I have to pay, so I'm just going to leave that at zero for now. Fast Track, that's a freeway service to get through the traffic a lot quicker. So I'm budgeting $40 for that. I have two birthdays this month that I'm going to be celebrating, so I'm budgeting $150. Vehicle maintenance is $900. Now that's a little high, but I do have a cracked windshield that I've had for probably a few months, and I have just been procrastinating to avoid getting that fixed, I guess because just too much comes up and I don't have time to take care of it. I need to take care of it, and I'm going to do it this month. So that is one thing. I also have to get an oil change this month. So that's another thing. And then I have to get brakes, brake pads. My brakes are starting to squeak a little bit. Time for brake pads. So I'm budgeting 900 for this and hoping that it'll be less than 9, but I don't know yet. So this will be a hefty one. Budgeting $85 for yard maintenance. Now, giveaway YouTube, I'm budgeting $50. I do like to set money aside for my giveaways. I've done it since the beginning and I'll continue to do it. So I'm going to budget $50 for that. Now, eating out, I didn't have a category for eating out. I just called it buffer. Well, I realized that I have been spending way too much money in my buffer. So I am going to be switching that up, changing it. I am not going to have a huge buffer amount anymore. So I separated it and I'm setting aside 125 for eating out for the month. So this is going to be a challenge, but I'm going to try my best to stay within that budget. And then I changed my buffer to $100. So it used to be $425, which was a lot more. So now it's a very small amount. It's 100. And that just gives me a little wiggle room in my budget because I didn't want to go where I didn't have any. So I think that will help me feel like I at least have a little bit of spending money in case something unexpected comes up. So my total variable expenses are $2,525. So that is what I'm spending. And I will say there's a lot of people doing a no spend month. And so I'm really happy and I applaud you and I'm cheering you on. I may do one down the road, but I think if I'm just going to do the baby steps by decreasing my buffer, I think that's a start. It'll get me prepared. Okay, so let's move on to debt. So I have my Discover credit card. I'm budgeting 150. My Sam's Club credit card, $200. My car payment is $550. My student loan, I'm budgeting $850. And usually I budget a certain amount and then I work on savings challenges and try to finish them. So I'm hoping to finish about 2 challenges, and that'll give me about another maybe $150 to add to this amount. As long as I can clear 1,000, I think I'll be okay. And I just got notice that my interest rate went down. So I am so happy about that. But that is how my student loan works. But in my normal budget, I set aside between 800 and 850. So that's what I'm budgeting. And then my personal loan is $302.30. So my total debt is $2,052.30. Okay. So let's go into investing, which is the fun part of your budget. So I'm setting aside $50 to go to Vanguard. I am going to send 25 to SoFi, 25 to Fidelity, my M1 finance account, $75. And then my Roth IRA, I'm setting aside 200. So my total investment amount is $375. Okay, so savings. My savings accounts, I'm going to send 225 to those. That includes my emergency fund. For my savings challenges, which is what I use to have fun and to stuff my envelopes, play games and whatnot, I'm going to set aside $400 for that. And then my envelope challenge that I'm doing, I'm going to set aside 100 for that. So my total savings I am going to be setting aside is $725. And last but not least, my sinking funds, I call them lifesaver funds. I'm going to set aside $600 for those funds. I have online sinking funds and cash sinking funds. So I send money to both of those categories. And so that is going to be 600. So my total budget for the month, I'm budgeting $8,552.80. Now I am a couple of dollars over from what I budgeted, but I think with the buffer and some of the categories that I have, I can certainly give myself a little wiggle room and I should be okay. But that is my January 24 budget. How are you doing this month? Are you tracking your budget this month? I hope you are. Let me know. Do you track it on paper or do you track it electronically like myself? Well, that is all the time I have. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I hope your budget goes well this month. Wish me luck on mine. All right. I will see you all in another video. Thank you. Take care. Bye.